This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Monday, November 28. In Squiz Kids Today, big wins for Socceroos, Wallabies, Strikers, Dees and Dan. Bluey takes Manhattan. Winston named top dog and cycling through the desert. That's what's making news, kid style.
The lowdown.
12 years is a long time. For many of you, it's as long or longer than you've been alive, which goes some way to explaining why the Socceroos and all who love them were in such a celebratory mood on the weekend, after our men's national soccer team won their first World Cup game in 12 long years, beating Tunisia 1-0. When striker Mitch Duke got his head to a ball and cleverly deflected it into the corner of the net, Australia's hopes of possibly making the hallowed final 16 of the tournament suddenly lifted. There's a bit that still has to happen before we make it to the final 16, also known as the knockout stage, including us putting in a good show in our match against Denmark on Thursday. But, for the moment, let's enjoy this small but very significant victory and give our team in Doha all the credit they deserve. Also having a good weekend, finally, were the Wallabies, our men's national rugby team, who staged a remarkable comeback to beat Wales in Cardiff. The lads in green and gold were 21 points behind with only 27 minutes to play, but put their heads down and played some inspiring footy to win the game 39-37. Epic. Celebrations were also the order of the night at North Sydney Oval on Saturday when the Adelaide Strikers made history, winning their first ever WBBL championship with a 10-run triumph over the Sydney Sixers. And the Melbourne Demons claimed their first ever premiership too in the AFLW yesterday, beating the Brisbane Lions in a closely fought match 2-7-19 to 2-3-15. Go you good things. And speaking of winners, Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews was on something of a high yesterday after the Labor Party he leads held on to government in Victoria. Andrews now joins a rare club of Australian premiers who have won 3 elections back to back. And he'll have a statue made in his honour when, in February next year, he marks 3,000 days in office.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in the United States, where Bluey has taken Manhattan. Manhattan is the island on which New York City sits. You know New York City, you've seen it in countless movies and TV shows. Maybe you've been lucky enough to visit it. Each year, the streets of New York City are taken over by the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It's a magical day where an enormous inflatable characters float above the city's streets in a parade that has to be seen to be believed. And this year, there was a Baby Yoda inflatable, a Snoopy in a spacesuit, a SpongeBob SquarePants, and a 4-story tall inflatable Bluey. It was her first appearance in the prestigious parade, which attracted more than 3 million people in the streets of New York and was watched by about 50 million more on television. Safe to say, our Bluey has hit the prime time. And frankly, it couldn't happen to a nicer blue heeler. I've stuck a video of her star appearance in today's episode notes. And as per tradition, the parade was wrapped up by the Queen of Christmas herself, Mariah Carey, singing the song that dare not speak its name, heralding that we're now on the home stretch to Chrissy. Bring it on.
Animal Kingdom.
Speaking of top dogs, a French bulldog by the name of Winston has been named Best in Show over the weekend at a great big dog show in the United States. The National Dog Show is held every year, where all sorts of pooches of all shapes and sizes compete to be named Best in Show, which means exactly what it sounds like. It's the first time ever a French bulldog has won the top prize, with the association that put the show on saying that Frenchies are now the second most popular dog in America, meaning lots and lots of people are choosing that breed for a pet. Labradors are the most popular breed, with Golden Retrievers coming in third. As for the competition itself, second place went to Cooper, an English toy spaniel, which is apparently a thing. Other finalists included an American Staffordshire Terrier named Trouble, an Alaskan Malamute called Roos, and a German Shepherd called River. Sounds like a Harry McClary book to me. I've stuck a link to a video of Winston's win in today's episode notes. You're welcome.
Squiz Kids salutes.
Have you ever been on a really long bike ride? And no, I don't mean the ride from your home to school or the ride through the neighbourhood to your friend's house. I mean a bike ride that takes you 3 months to complete, crosses 13 countries and sees you ride for weeks on end through sand dunes in the desert. Because that's what a couple of French cyclists have done, riding their bikes 7,000 kilometres all the way from Paris in France to Doha in Qatar to watch a football game. The pair are mad keen football fans and wanted to see their home team, France, kick their way to World Cup glory. Surely there are easier ways to get to a footy match, though. Indeed there are, but as one of the cyclists told reporters, we wanted to show people your legs can give you so many adventures. Let's hear it for the boys and for our legs.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. Which cartoon favourite has made her very first appearance at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade? Yes, of course, it's Bluey. Question number 2. Which team did the Socceroos beat at the weekend at the World Cup in Doha? Yes, of course, it was Tunisia. Question number 3. What is the name of the French bulldog that won the National Dog Show in America at the weekend? Yep, that's right. His name was Winston.
Shout-outs.
It's November 28, only 26 days until Christmas. That sure did creep up. It's also Red Planet Day today around the world, a day to celebrate the awesomeness of our planetary neighbour Mars. And it's a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Chloe from Abbotsford, Cooper Ray from Broken Hill, Angus from Maitland, Olivia from Brisbane, Lucinda from Melbourne, Mia from Cottesloe, Isaac from Ashwood, Karen from Claremont Meadows, Lachlan from Launton, Ariel from Lane Cove, and Nouri, who's listening all the way over there in Singapore. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Isabel from Loftus, that's where I used to live, Gabe from Rabina, and Nathaniel from Valley View. And classroom shout-outs today go to Class 5SH and Mr. Hogan at Our Lady of Help Primary School in Warrnambool, Class KD and Mr. Delaney at Stanmore Public School, Class B11 and Mrs. Fisher at Craigburn Primary, Class 3T at Rangeview Primary School, Class 4B and Ms. Lockhart at Roseville Public School, Class 6Y and Miss Yinfu at Dysart State School, Class 5-6 Red and Ms. Ebert at Molong Central School, and finally to Class 3R and Mr. Lamper at the Australian International School in Singapore. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you're after a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.